This is what they call commitment. It's about 11 o'clock on Saturday night. It's freezing in this room, but I really wanted to speak about a couple of things while they're very fresh, because after sleeping on things, it's just not the same. The first thing I wanted to speak about is this really, really, really important core teaching learning practice that I'm finally hearing enough times to really feel the meaning of. And that is coming to a place where our mind is no longer divided into right and wrong, light and dark, good and bad, black and white. And it's such an important practice because it is so pervasive in our cultural conditioning, wherever it comes from, doesn't matter. But all of the messaging and the conversations that we are witness to are about divisions. How was it? Good or bad? Did you like that? Oh, yeah? It's kind of forcing us into an opinion of something when there doesn't necessarily need to be one. And it's like our language doesn't even contain the words to have a flow of conversation around simply being. Simply loving and being in what we are. We don't know how to speak without dividing into two sides of an issue, taking a stand for or against something, being on whatever side, declaring something to be good or bad, or declaring the events of our life to be good or bad. How's it going? Good or bad? So to notice that and to begin to find the place of harmony and presence and just being with experience without the labels is a profound transformative and healing practice in and of itself. Just to be able to arrive at that true point, not saying you've arrived there to prove you're a good person, none of that false posturing, which is also part of the division of, oh, let me try to do that because that sounds better. But the true experience of, what is that like to just take it all in, to be here. For me, this is an attempt to get on a video camera, with my hair looking like it does, and just not being camera ready at all, but being okay with wanting to record the thought as it's happening and showing it is my practice, is a part of my practice. So that was the first point I wanted to talk about. And the second one was something that's really opening up for me, an area that life has been asking me to be with, and I have been dancing in this good, bad, right, wrong, black, white division around, is the issue of money and the issue of professionalization. And somehow I just had this awakening this evening that I've been walking down this path without knowing why or how, or without recalling the choice, but I've definitely been walking down this path of buying into some rules that were sold to me and I bought. I definitely chose to believe these, and I'll just kind of read down what I wrote down as my list. I've believed that to be a professional, to be good at what it is that I'm trying to do, working with people, coaching them, helping them heal, transform, and create, that I need to, well, that first of all, that it's bad to just trade time for dollars, meaning charge by the hour, that's like the lowest thing that I could do. It's the most primitive way of practicing business. And that if I offer a single session, that somehow means that I'm really low on the evolutionary point as a business person. If I agree to have a one-on-one single session with a person, and if I don't think of myself as offering a program or a package or a process, that is really the ultimate failure, and that I'll just be stuck in the cycle of mediocre income, trading time for dollars, the undesirable treadmill. And that the ultimate win is to be teaching very large groups of people from a stage, or at least groups of people. So let me look at, now that I've owned that and that I've really judged any other way of doing business, and so I've really kind of tried to push my business into these ways, even though I haven't really been prepared to offer any of those things. It's like right now I'm prepared to offer single sessions one-on-one in order to learn what it is that I'm offering and who I like to work with and how. However, I judge that and constantly say that I shouldn't really be doing that, and I should be offering programs, packages, and groups, even though I don't really have the vivid vision of what those programs, packages, and groups would look like. I have general outlines that can be filled in with more individual work and learning. However, I have this very strong drive to appear professional at all times. So what I miss by doing all that judgment and pushing away the reality is I miss the opportunity to do the single sessions and to offer what's needed for me and for the clients. And I miss the learning that's available to me in doing as many single sessions as I can and need to do. And without fear that if I do it, I'll get stuck. And so if you look at the marketing copy for these money-making calls that I have fallen for more times than I care to even count at this point, because they speak to that part of my human brain that fears that I'm missing some vital piece of information that could catapult me out of this fearful situation of just not knowing, and immediately launch my career as a professional, which is what my ego so desires. That I fall for the language that says, you will get stuck, or you are stuck, or don't you hate where you are right now? Wouldn't you love to not have to struggle with what you're struggling with right now? some version of this that sort of really appeals to our emotional aversion to walking through the valley of exactly what we need to walk through to get to our destination or our direction, which is where we're pointing as we walk. But wow, it's so appealing to that very, very scared reptilian brain child that's like, please let me get out of here, like make it stop, make it go away. And it's really no different than any of the other marketing that we're being fed in our society that says, here's all the ways to make your pain go away, here's all the ways to get numb and distracted, here's all the shortcuts out of the boredom that you feel because you're disconnected from the meat of your life. And it's all true that we feel these things. We experience these periods of time when we don't have the words for what's happening, and we don't have a storyline for where we're going. And we'd like to skip over those parts and make it all go away with someone else's answer. Sure, if you put that in front of me, there's a part of my brain that's going to say, yeah, you need that. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It looks shiny. Go. And this is the psychology of advertising in any form, whether it's Oprah or Marlboro cigarettes. It's the same. And let's all be honest that all marketing and sales relies upon the exact same elements of our human psychology as every other form. So there's fundamentally no difference. And this is, I suppose, my basic problem with using those tactics to talk about something that I feel is about the antidote to being susceptible to that. And I don't see those tactics as being part of how I want to present things to my audience or in the world. And yet, I seek a way to participate in this economy somehow, in a way that feels aligned with the overall message, because it can't be in a container that doesn't align with the contents of the container. So I was literally just woke to these rules that I've believed in the past about how I needed to make my money and what it meant if I made it a certain way. So I wanted to share it because maybe there's something for you to relate to in your worlds as you're watching this. And just to take this moment to allow these words to come through me and take form so that I can love them and not make me wrong for believing them. But in just seeing that this is what existed at one time in my mind, I can now choose what I want to do with that. And see where just the revelation takes me. And enjoy the process that I'm getting to go through by allowing all of this to unfold and watching it and saying, okay, wow, interesting. So, all right, what does this mean for what I could do next? What could I allow more of, and what could I not need to attach so much to? What possibilities emerge from that? And now that none of this is a problem anymore, now that all of my money conflicts are resolved, what's unfolding. That's all. It's a little too late at night to get any further into that, but glad I made this